I got this problem. No, it isn't lice. Lice has not been a problem since September. My problem is this. A restraining order filed against me by my own speech coach. You need to understand my plight here. The guy only had 46 hours of coaching posted this week. I needed more. So I hid in the trunk of his car and disguised myself as a gardener on his front lawn. I was brilliant, but if anything, I thought he would be impressed at my understanding of coaching's value. However, according to the prosecuting attorney, my understanding has apparently become a violation of privacy. So, to retort, I pulled out my secret weapon, the October 3rd, 2011 New Yorker, which revealed that in a variety of ways, coaching has permeated the business sector. Oh no, it's not just for sports stars and duo partners anymore. Whether you be a businessman, an artist, or an educator, you're just beginning to understand the value of the coach, beyond the tab. However, the courtroom wouldn't listen to me, so I still feel compelled to create my coaching case. So, I'm doing it for you instead. So, get your game face on, because up top, we face the modern-day presence and potency of coaching. Right down the middle, we take on the barrier standing between us and coaching head-on, before finally we get mad, we get pumped, and we get some solutions. Sports! So, let's begin with the modern-day impact and definition of the coach. Well, you think you already know what the coach is. He's the guy that runs the meetings and drives the van and whose picture you keep in a secret pocket of your suit so you can keep their memories close, no matter how far the courts may mandate. But it's much more than that. The coaching psychologist from January 30th, 2012 highlights the value of the coach and says that in recent years it has spread in a myriad of multiple directions. I mean, we've got leadership coaches, executive coaches, life coaches, college application coaches, Twitter coaches, Craig T. Nelson. Justin Bieber has a swag coach. Look at me. I'm a coaching coach. And that's only because I got great coaching by one of the greatest coaches who's ever coached a coaching coach. It's coast to coast coaching. Or is it? Just like that, I turn it around. But while we're in the process of highlighting the efforts of my coach, all coaches, we need to bear in mind what a good coach really and truly is. An amalgamation of boss, teacher, and friend. Basically a boss with benefits, a teacher with benefits, and in the event you play football for Penn State, a friend with benefits. The Journal of Quality and Participation writes on April 14, 2011, that 97% of high-level executives who received coaching showed a display of profound leadership improvement skills. Second, looking to that earlier mentioned New Yorker article, it states that 80% of teachers who received coaching showed a profound improvement in their students' test scores, thus presenting them with a rare opportunity to sincerely say, score one for the home ec department. We're cooking now. With all this hard-boiled knowledge on what the coach is good for, we can now ask, why do we stop coaching after we graduate from college? 2 reasons. We fear it, and it's pretty expensive. But first, we must look to how we are afraid of coaching. Mostly, the first reason because of this is we're afraid of criticism. The British Psychological Society released the results of a study on December 15, 2011 that says that when they offered free coaching sessions to individuals in a professional environment, over half of them still declined, on the sole merit that having a coach automatically renders them fools. I must reiterate, free coaching sessions. Free is a pretty powerful word. I mean, you could be giving Rick Santorum bobbleheads away in the middle of a gay pride parade. Those things would still be flying off the shelves. And the next thing you know, there'd be Santorum everywhere. The point is, people don't like to be a coach because they're afraid that people will tell them that they're doing something wrong. And people just don't like being wrong. Another article in the International Coaching Psychology Review from March 13, 2011 says that people don't like to receive this coaching because they're afraid that they'll wind up with a bad coach. I mean, we all know that there are bad coaches out there. I mean, we just saw Shauna Jungdell's ploy. I mean, there's all these topics in the world, and what? We're going to talk about food for 10 minutes? There's people protesting in the streets here. Seriously. So we all know that there are bad coaches out there, but there's a second reason why we fear it. It's expensive. An article dated August 22nd, 2011 in the Academy of Management says that the average coaching session costs $75 an hour. I mean, sure, I'd like to man up my muscles by hiring a personal trainer or punch up my profile by investing in an investment firm, or even blowing in the dark, because that's just plain awesome. But people who coach professionally cost a colossal coinage. And frankly, I just can't afford that right now. But my speech coach is free. F-R-E-E, free. Okay, maybe he has a point with all of this. But when we were little, we received T-ball instructions from our neighborhood parents. And then to the point where we go to prepare for the big tournament thanks to our college professors, we realize that we aren't paying out of pocket for this, so we utilize it as much as possible. But the moment that we have to pay a pretty penny, we automatically sacrifice these skills that have caused us to learn and develop over all these years, on the sole merit of it being expensive. But hey, I've still got a little time left. This thing is not notarized yet, so I'm going to utilize this for all it's worth. Just let them craft me as commanded to such the point where I'm no longer a human, where I'm a forensicating Frankenstein, if you will. Fear, expense, bad, Frankenstein impression, even worse. Okay, that was pretty bad. With such a knowledge of the coach, as well as the coaching quantity presented, we must now ask, where do we go from here? Don't worry, I have a plan. It involves a van, 30 feet of rope, and enough Novocaine to knock out a horse. But that's my plan, and you can't have it. For you, I offer you two non-narcotics-based solutions. Get creative with financing and understand the coaching relationship. First, we need to deal with these high costs of coaches and realize that we need to get creative with financing. This is a worthy investment. You need to, something that takes this much time and effort, sometimes a sacrifice, is simply worth it. But once we get out of college, it costs money. Or doesn't. We can get creative with this financing. Coaching does not necessarily have to cost cash. You can trade coaching skills, for instance. Talk to somebody, trade your expertise to someone that you know, and they'll tell you something that you know. You work together. And sometimes you don't even have to rely on that. If there's one thing that people love, it's dispensing knowledge. And all you need to do is ask. For instance, my family, when they tried to make the decision on creating a Dungeons & Dragons character, they looked to me first. Okay, this hasn't happened yet, but they know where to look. Second, we must be willing to understand the coaching relationship that we have created. The first step is understanding yourself and knowing that perfectionism is not the ultimate goal. The Coaching Psychology Today, on October 27, 2011, writes that if we are unable to look in a mirror and honestly assess ourselves, we'll never be able to grow or adapt as human beings. Now, when I look in the mirror, I see someone who is scrawny, pale, and socially awkward. But at least I'm on the fast track to self-improvement. Second, we must understand the good qualities that a coach possesses and acknowledge them duly. A good coach is part psychologist, part motivator, and part manipulator. Basically an intern for John Wayne Gacy. Only a little less murderous than that. The National Staff Development Council on June 23, 2011 writes that when selecting a coach, do not base them solely upon prior achievements, but instead do it based upon your comfort, communication, and capability to be competent in his or her own abilities. We must work together to create a working and magical coach environment where these agents of change must work. Trust and an open line of communication are absolutely imperative. Whether it be in the boardroom or the bedroom, we must be willing to accept sage words of advice, such as, get ready because it's going up fast. I was talking about profits, not privates. We now understand the impacts, barriers, and methods to make the most of coaching beyond our forensics careers. And admit it, we will be to move beyond our forensics when the time is right, which is usually when the torches and the pitchforks are coming in. But in all seriousness, there are no sources and there are no internal previews that could possibly describe my metamorphosis since joining the speech team. And I can only thank my coach for that. But I can't due to this entire restraining order affair. But damn it, I will see that man in court. And thanks to him, and people just like him, I'm going to be ready for that.